Run out and buy $400 microphones and all this other stuff.
Well, this is pretty fancy.
Well, I'm glad you like it. It's the best that Amazon had.
Happy Friday.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Just another day in a traveler's life, I guess you could say.
You finished up a trip, right?
Oh yeah. I did. Started off the week Monday and Tuesday. I was in the Woodlands. Drove home for 1 hour to watch my kids play football, and then got in the car and then drove down to South Texas because we were doing renovation seminars throughout South Texas and stuff like that, and then got home last night.
Well, the Woodlands is nice.
The Woodlands
all
is
the
beautiful.
trees and
oh man,
I love that area.
We stayed right in like that business center part of it. Like there's a big West in there, so it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like it was like you were in like an actual
resort.
Downtown.
Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of just like I'd never been to that part of it. It was really cool.
Well, I lived in the Conroe area for 2 years, so 5th and 6th grade.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nice. All the pine trees.
Well, my daughter's actually going to the University of Sam Houston up in Huntsville.
Okay, that is an old picture.
That is a very old picture.
Oh my God, Bobby, you need to replace that because she looks like she's 12 right there, and if she's going off to college, we got a problem.
You know what it is? It's me holding on, I guess you could say.
Okay, wow.
But if you go to my social media, man, like I've got like updated stuff on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we got senior prom right around the corner.
Yeah. That's
How old are your babies?
I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Really?
And they're all girls growing up before my eyes.
All girls.
One going to Bowie next year. She's going to be a freshman. So I hear that once they start high school, it's just might as well just wait for graduation. It's coming right around the corner.
I was very fortunate that because ours did band, and there was so much activity to where we were volunteering with the band and stuff, that time slowed down for a minute. It wasn't that lightning kind of, oh my God, she's a freshman, now she's a senior. Like there was a lot of content in the middle that I can go back and play on. But
well, that's what I'm hoping to hone in on, those memories, because I hear it just goes by really fast. So I'm going to try to soak it in and just enjoy the moment. And plus I have my little baby, my little 4-year-old that I'm going to try to hold on to as long as I can. So
my wife's doing that with our youngest. He's already 9 and he's growing like a weed. He's hitting that growth spurt, and she's not enjoying that very much.
Yeah. Well, you want to hold on to that. Yeah. It's your baby.
Yeah. She still gets to do the tuck-ins, so she's happy about that, but he's getting more and more independent, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Plus, they're both doing football, so flag, thank God. So what's going on, man? What have you been up to?
Well, I am gearing up for second quarter, and I'm loving. I mean, of course, rates are up.
Sure.
And that's refis have kind of gone down. So, work as well. Just trying to wrap up the year with the girls and enjoying this beautiful weather, and it's just soaking it all in. Really, I'm excited about what the rest of 2018 has to bring, and of course next year. And I'm doing some things in my business to kind of change that up. So,
right.
That's what I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Big B Mortgage Podcast. As always, I am Big B. And today, in the chair, I have a very good old dear friend of mine. Not old in the elder sense of the word, just I've known you for a while. Yes. Miss Monica Jenkins from OnQ Financial. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Yay!
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to come and sit in the chair, girl.
How long have I known you? I'm trying to...
Since the AmeriPro days.
The AmeriPro days.
So I was with them for 5 years. And it's probably been 5 years since I left, I'm thinking.
So then, I've known you for a good amount of time.
A fair amount of time. Yeah.
And I think the fact that I was from Laredo and not necessarily the Valley. I know it's not the Valley. Trust me, I've been corrected.
Well, see, but I'm from Laredo, technically.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Then I think I was thinking it was the Valley, so I had that wrong then. But I knew you definitely had some roots down there.
I did. Yeah, I lived in Laredo most of my life, actually. And then the whole Valley thing was after Laredo. Like, that was post Laredo. Fell in love with a Valley girl and followed her down to the Valley.
Yeah.
I figured, because back then, I don't know what it was, but the thought of living in a big city scared the bejesus out of me. Like, it just made me very, I don't know. Like, it was just weird, the thought of living in a city like a San Antonio or an Austin or whatever. I'd grown up in that small town thing, right? And back then, of course, it was safe to go to Mexico.
Right.
Right?
Well, we would go across to go to the dentist, to buy our pharmaceutical,
yeah,
ampicillin.
Yes, Monica,
everything.
that's why we would go across.
Yes. We didn't go to Senor Frogs.
No,
Yeah.
there was
well,
no
but
El Dorado.
I lived there when I was in before I was 10. I mean, basically, I was born at Mercy Hospital, and I grew up there until I was about 10 years old. And then when my mom remarried, and then I moved to Conroe.
Right.
For 2 years, and then I moved to Victoria. So I would say that I lived my early life in Laredo. So then I was actually going to the dentist and doing those little elementary things. But then when I would go visit, then yes, we would go across and have fun. But yes, it was safe back then. But all my family, my dad's side of the family is still there.
You know, I remember going to the eye doctor in Mexico.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the best doctors, one of the worst eyeglass experiences, though. I literally go, get my exam done, and we're picking out my glasses, and the whole bill's going to be like, $100 with no insurance or something like that, right? For everything, right? It might even have been less.
Probably.
But long story short, the doctor asked me when I'm picking out my frames, he was like, so do you want me to put a tint on them so that it helps block the sun and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure, right? I didn't think to ask what color the tint was. So I get these glasses, and it's a rose-ish kind of tint. I kid you not, man. So for literally like 6 months, I had pink lenses in my frames. I caught so much crap.
A rosé color.
Oh, yeah, it was rosé. This
Oh.
is before rosé was even identified.
Right.
It was pink, dude.
It was pink.
And I caught so much flack because you know how people are in Laredo. Like, part of the whole charm is that they bust your stones every chance you get,
Of
right?
course. Yes.
So,
Well, then I need to know, did we go to elementary school together? I don't know. I wasn't.
so I got there right as I was starting junior high.
Okay.
So they put
Then
me
we
in a
kind of crossed
private
paths.
school.
Yeah.
They put me in private school, and then from there I went to United North.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. But anyway, so what brought you to Austin? How did you end up? Because, I mean, it's like you went Laredo, Conroe, Victoria.
Yeah.
How did you end up here?
Well, I went to school at Southwest Texas when it was Southwest Texas. Now it's Texas State, so in San Marcos. And then I did that 4-year plan. And then as soon as I graduated, literally 2 days later, I started my job at Wells Fargo. And it was in Austin. It was off of William Cannon and South 35. So here I am, a senior in college, and I was like, okay, well, I got to get a job. So I went to the little booth, and, they have all the career day, and I got hired on at Wells Fargo, and I knew exactly where I was going. And I asked for some time off right after I graduated. I was like, you know what, I deserve some time just to kind of collect myself and have fun before I start my career and start work. And the guy was like, nope. His name is Michael Sherman. He actually was the first guy to, he was an excellent boss, but he said, no, if you're going to start Monday. Like, I graduated on Friday. So I was like, okay. I still had my apartment with all my roommates, and I was like, well, I got to find a place to live. That came eventually, but I started work, and I made the commute because, it's 20 minutes from San Marcos to Austin. But then I started my job at Wells Fargo, and I could say that I've been in this industry since 1999 because that's literally when I graduated and I started work.
So wait, when you started at Wells Fargo, was it under mortgage?
It was Wells Fargo Financial.
Okay.
It was actually called Norwest Financial. So
but
Norwest.
You were doing mortgage loans.
I was doing home equity.
Really?
I was doing home equity, but I also did credit cards.
Uh-huh.
We did We did small loans at very high interest rates. We charged 10 points on our home equity loans.
Ouch.
10 points. We did Section 32 loans when Section 32 was a thing. Now it's considered a loan shark, high cost loan, so we don't do those anymore. But back in the day when we were able to do those type of loans, we charged 10 points on every single loan, and like just to charge 8 points was an exception.
Wow.
Yes, and so we would collect on those loans because we were doing these high cost loans for clients with very low credit scores. So we would collect on credit cards. We would collect on home equity loans. We would collect on
So you were doing
small
collection
loans.
calls too?
I was doing collection calls. Yes.
Oh,
I was
God.
taking payments on small loans,
Yeah.
small loan payments. I was taking mortgage payments. So we did the whole thing. And like we lent on cars where they'd bring their title in and we would collect the title and do a loan on a high interest loan on their car. So yes, you could say I was doing mortgages, but it was more home equity loans. And that's when I said, okay, after I ended up taking a branch manager position so Norwest changed names. It was Norwest Financial, and then it got bought out by Wells Fargo Financial. And then I took a branch manager position out in Victoria, and I took that, and I lived there because that was my hometown. That's where I went to high school, right?
Right.
Well, I actually went to Cuero. Cuero is a small town aside from Victoria, but I say Victoria because most people don't know where Cuero is. But Cuero is actually where I went to high school and where I went. That's my hometown.
Okay.
But I ended up taking a job in Victoria. I was a branch manager there, and I absolutely knew that was not my calling, and I just loved the home equity part of it. And so then I took a job at Conseco Finance back in Austin. So Austin has always kind of been where I've gravitated to. I always went back to it. So
right.
Even though I had a little stint in Victoria as a branch manager, I then went back. And then Conseco Finance was the subprime.
Mm-hmm.
That was subprime mortgage lending. So I was in subprime for the good early part of my career where we were doing high interest rate loans and we were doing, we didn't care about collection accounts.
Yeah.
And it was just, we would actually pay off collections for clients, and it was definitely.
Were you brokering those, or were those in-house?
No, those were in-house.
Wow.
Yeah, those were in-house. Broker, that word didn't even come into my existence until I was later on, and I started working at, basically, I think when I started working at Land Mortgage, which then turned into AmeriPro. But
so, you went from where to Land Mortgage? What were you at before Land Mortgage?
So,
because I remember that back in the day, right? Like when I guess they had just changed the name to AmeriPro. That's when I came on.
Yeah.
And I remember it was that one corner, that corner suite on the second floor.
Yeah.
Remember that? The wraparound? And they were like, I remember at one point I would walk in because I would come up from San Antonio, and there would be like 4 LOs in one office.
Oh, yeah. We were cramped in there.
Like Chad had them packed in, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But, that's how we definitely connected that way. We had no other choice. We were sharing, we're shoulder to shoulder. But so I would say I worked at the Norwest Wells Fargo Financial for about 4 or 5 years. And then I gravitated to Conseco, which was mortgage lending, specifically home equity and purchase subprime lending. And I was there for, I would say, a couple of years. No, it was longer. It was probably about a 4-year stint. And then I went to Stone Creek Funding. It was kind of a broker type of deal.
Right.
I was only there for like a year and a half, too. And then they shut it down. They shut down Stone Creek Funding. So then I started at Land at that point.
Gotcha.
Land Mortgage.
So Stone Creek must have been right there at the tail end of the.
Yes.
At the beginning of the end, as far as 08 started, right?
Yeah. So then Land Mortgage was my first step of because everything beyond that, Bobby, was salary plus commission. Okay. So
this is where you jump in.
This is where you jump in, right? You full force. So then when I joined Land, it was get your tail in gear. It's feast or famine kind of deal. It was feast or famine before, but we always had that base to kind of solidify us, right? But now it was all commission. You go reap the benefits of what you produce, and that was a scary, scary jump. It was before the '08 meltdown, to be honest with you, but when I took that leap, I remember vividly within like 6 months, it was Valentine's Day, and my husband and I were eating at some like Subway because that's what we could afford. And that's, we were been there. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to give it 2-3 more months. And if I can do this, if not, I'm going to have to go back to something where it's more salary kind of based. And something happened, I prayed about it, and it was just things that I started, the seeds that I started to plant started to develop.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just started taking off, and I started getting my deals in, and I started building up my strategic partners and my agents, and it just revved up from there. So I knew then this is where I was meant to be.
Yeah, because once you hit that point, right, once you hit that point to where you can start seeing the fruits of the labor, then like it gets pretty crystal, I think. But it's that entry point that we all go through, and I've got guys who are just entering the mortgage business that we've taken chances on because, they're very dynamic individuals, and it's like you come into it, and it's like the first few days, first month or whatever, it's like go, I'm so excited, but then it's like you get the door slammed on you so many times in those first 60 days or whatever, that if you don't have that will or something pushing you, it's real easy just to say, you know what, I tried, this didn't work.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people bail out, whether it's mortgage lending or any form of sales. I think a lot of commission salespeople tend to bail out right before it's about to get good.
Right.
You know what I mean? But something you mentioned, that you had prayed about it. Like, or do you live by faith a lot?
Yeah.
Like
I was raised a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a believer, and I pray multiple times. I pray on my way up here just for a safe trip, right? So
right.
It's the foundation of what I grew up with. So my mom instilled it in me, but I was Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and I was never confirmed, but I ended up, when I came to San Marcos and went to Southwest Texas, I actually continued my Catholic. I was going to church during college, and that's when a lot of people, I wouldn't say lose their religion. It's just not something that's in the forefront of their mind.
Sure.
During college years, because you're kind of doing other things, right?
Right. You're a little distracted,
right.
Let's say.
Yeah. But I don't know. There was something in me that said, it was a Sunday service at 8 p.m. Like, I can go to that. Like,
right.
I'm up at 8 p.m. It was right by my dorm, so I would go there. And so, don't get me wrong, I wasn't consistent, but I still kept it up. And then it wasn't until, to be honest with you, Bobby, I just wasn't going to church when I started Wells Fargo or Norwest Financial, because I was busy working, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I realized when I had my first one, my baby, my little girl,
right.
who's now 13, that if I want to instill it in her, I have to practice it. So my husband and I decided to find a church, and I shopped churches around, I guess, like you shop interest rates, right? No, but I looked around, and I finally found a home at Christian Life, which is off Westgate. But so yes,
nice.
Faith is it's the foundation of everything that I do. And so yes, praying is part of my life, and part of, I feel like there's signs that are given to me. Sure. Because I'm listening and I'm trying to take note of that. So God kind of gives me those signs to say, okay, you can pursue this, you can do this. And so I listen. I try to listen, try to be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's awesome. Because we're, like, ours is a faith-based company, right? And I'll be honest, like, I've never worked for a mortgage company that touted its faith, that really kind of, God, family, community kind of a thing, right? God, family, community, and business. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of like the pillars or the flow that they go for. And I remember coming in here thinking, like, okay, what is this like going to be like? Like, am I going to have to, you know what I mean? Like, am I going to really get chastised? Like, are they going to, smack me on the head with a Bible? But they haven't, and it's great. And it kind of helps you, I guess, reconnect, because I know early in my career, man, it was sad, but it was just all about the money.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think there's any shame in that, but there has to be, in my opinion, a bigger why as to why we do what we do, right? But that's something I had to learn as I grew in this industry. And so is that something that you find like you share as far as that goes? Like, I mean, do you have your why figured out? Why you do what you do on a daily basis?
That's a great question. So yeah, I mean, I serve the Lord. I try to treat others as I would want to be treated, and I think, you know, having that as my foundation is eventually, I mean, I have to answer to Him ultimately.
Right.
So how I go about my day, how I treat others, how I treat the janitor to the top CEO, they're all children of God. And the way I see it is, it gets really hairy. Like if you try to do the whole social media thing and you look at Facebook and you see political views, I try to,
oh God,
that's a whole other deal, right?
Dude.
I get it. I have my opinions, but I answer to Him. And so ultimately,
right.
So what I'm saying is every day, whether it's a post on Facebook or if it's a talk with my daughter, or my whys are because I serve the Lord, but I also have 3 daughters that I have to be role models to. I want them to become strong, independent women who also serve the Lord, but who also just are good people, like truly good people.
Yeah.
And what else is there to ask for? So.
There's political views on Facebook.
Well, I don't answer to those.
There are some people that will remain nameless that, wow. I mean, wow. And they're in our industry, and they're just like banging on people because of their political view. And I don't get, I'm like you, man. I avoid it like the plague.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't, no. Like, if I'm talking to someone who's a believer, like, I'll talk about belief. I'll talk about faith. Like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But if you were to sit here and start wanting to talk politics, I'd be like, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge that conversation all day long.
I agree. I mean, I give kudos. I try to look at all viewpoints, to be honest with you, but I don't comment on them. But I definitely understand that people are passionate about that.
Sure.
And I get it. And I will listen, but I'm not going to comment just because I feel like if I start putting my 2 cents in, it's like, who am I to, they're going to still believe what they want to believe. And that's fine. That's the rights that we have in the U.S. Is
absolutely.
The fact
I'm fully respectful of our ability and right to disagree with each other, right?
For sure.
I just don't want to argue with somebody on a social platform.
It's a circle.
Like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, give me sunshine and rainbows, man. Show me more cat videos. Like,
let's be happy. Let's embrace what we have.
I mean, like, and that's the thing. You know, it's whether it's our lives or our industry. I mean, because anybody who's not in mortgage that stands outside and looks in, like, it's a very stressful industry, in my opinion. Like, you've really got to love helping those families because every story's different. There's always more to the story than what we initially find out. You know what I mean? Like, every file is a puzzle. Every file is a mystery. And
there's a timeline.
And there's a definite timeline.
It can get stressful because there's expectations.
Yes. And, you've got to be ready at a certain, like, at this day, right?
Yes.
Like, and if you're not, ooh, baby, watch out.
Oh, watch it.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, you know what? Any chance that I can sit back and have a good laugh, man, I'm taking it. Like, I'm just taking it. Like, let's just enjoy it because we all see the posts where people are getting their keys, and that's awesome. But what did they have to go through to get those keys?
Yeah.
In some cases. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But anyway, do you do a lot on social?
I don't do as much as I should, to be honest with you. But before I actually came here today, this morning when I was loaded up, I was working from a local coffee shop. I actually finally, I'm starting to get my Facebook, my work Facebook page up, and I ask people to like it. Mm-hmm. I think that's a start, right? So that they know what I'm trying to post. But I try to keep for the most part, work and personal separate. So that's why I need to really hone in on my personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, my work Facebook page. So I'm working on it, Bobby. It's a work in process.
Yeah, it's same here. I mean, I'm more active now than I ever have been. But even then, there's still so much I don't know how to do. And then I see people that work for us that are like Instagram masters, and I'm just like, dude, oh my God, here's a new thing I got to learn.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a new thing.
Well, not for the kids.
No.
I don't have an Instagram, so.
No. Yeah, no. My daughter asked me the other day, and she was like, Dad, why don't you snap it? I'm like, what? Snap what? She's like, snap the moment. I was like, snap the moment? What are you talking about? She's like, Snapchat. I was like, nah, babe, I ain't getting on Snap. No, Dad. And so I got on Snapchat, and I set it up or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm never going to use this.
Right. Have you been back on there?
I go on because the way things are set up on these phones now, it automatically syncs everything. So, like, all my contacts that are on Snapchat automatically jump into, like, some friends list where it's super easy to add them as a friend. And so I have it, but I have yet to post my first snap, I guess it's called. I'm just not there, dude. Like, I'm an old guy, man. I'm a dinosaur. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. Even though LinkedIn is, losing a lot of people in the mortgage industry because of the recruiters.
Yeah. Well, I still think LinkedIn is a great resource. It's all about how you look at it, right? And what you do with it. But I guess Snapchat is not something that I've evolved to just yet, but maybe my...
So what is your preferred medium? Facebook?
It's just Facebook. Or LinkedIn.
I keep hearing... I am on Instagram, and I use Instagram moderately. It's pretty cool. You may want to check that one out.
But couldn't you... It's just pictures, right? Instagram?
Yeah, but you can still put messages to it.
Okay.
Or videos. And now they've got the feature to where you can record. It's kind of like you do a Facebook Live video. Yeah. You can do something on Instagram, I think, live or record it, and it follows something called a story. I don't know.
I may have to open up my... You
have to check it out.
Check it out. Okay.
So what's in store for you for 2018? What are you trying to do? Like, did you set some big healthy goals? Are you chasing the lion?
I did. I actually am getting uncomfortable, and I think that's what I have to do in order to get to the next level, right?
Yeah, you do.
Right? I mean, I'm going through a coaching masterminds program for 6 months, and it starting next week. Mm-hmm. So it's going to probably push me to do stuff that I haven't done. And it's, it's all about complacency, right?
Masterminds.
It's through Cindy Ertman.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some loan officers that I know that are going to be in the program, and I said, if they could do it, I could do it too. And it's just kind of pushing me to the next level so that I can get to, try to close, maybe work in increments, right? It's kind of how I see it.
Sure.
I want to be able to have the staff and the ability to serve my clients the best I can grow without any kind of obvious, hey, what's Monica doing over here? Like, just make sure that I'm doing it well and serving my clients well. So I'm working in maybe 5 to 10 million increments to try to grow my business versus going from 25 million to 50 million. I'm going slow. I'm trying.
So you're trying to do the 25 and do 30.
Well, I'm there now. I'm at 24, but I'm trying to get to like a 30 million maybe by this time next year.
Got you.
If I look at a year-to-date kind of deal, just trying to grow and slowly grow. But if I work in 5 million increments, I'm okay with 10 million. But all I'm saying is I want to make sure that I have everything in place to do that and to serve my clients well. And it's not. I don't want it to be a, hey, where's Monica? Why isn't she calling me? I always want to be able to be that contact for my clients. And I understand you have to build a team to do that, right?
Right.
But I also want to be available at all times. I never want them to lose sight of who they were referred to initially, right?
Sure.
It's me versus maybe a production assistant which I don't have right now. All I'm saying is I am that person. So you're an army of one right now? Well, I have a transaction coordinator, so she's awesome.
Sure.
But she does a lot of I'm still the client contact.
Right. You're
right?
the main point.
I'm the main point of contact. And I enjoy it. I mean, that's really the part of my job that I like the most that I love the most is just working with the clients, right? And then sometimes I don't meet them until closing, but I do try to go to my closings when I can. And then the aim is for a hug at the end of the deal, is because that way a handshake's nice. I'll take a handshake, but if I give them a hug and if they know that I care about them, I think it kind of goes a little bit longer. it says it's a deeper connection, right? It's I hope that they trust me at the end of the experience. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to what this is going to bring me. I'm a little bit scared.
Well, and that, you dip it into the unknown, right? Like, and are you a reader?
No.
Okay. Audible?
Just being honest.
I'm same
Audible.
Here.
Yeah, I could do that.
Guy. I'm an Audible guy because I spend so much time in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I can only listen to 80s hair music so much. Right. I love it, but so I started doing Audible, and dude, it has helped me so much. Just because now on these road trips, I'm just listening to my book. Point is, if you're on Audible, there's a book that you need to check out called Chase the Lion. I'm listening to it right now.
Okay.
And it's basically it follows 2 Samuel, and I forget 2023, I think it is, or something like that, to where it talks about chasing the lion, facing your fears, right? And the whole thing is that if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. But it's through a spiritual aspect, a spiritual way of looking at that, like God's plan versus your plan, that kind of thing. But it's a really great book. I highly recommend it. Like, I'm like on chapter 6 already, and I'm burning through it because, like, it's one of those that'll hold you, right? Like, I've listened to 10X. I love Grant Cardone, but Grant will run you into the grave if you're not careful. It's just go, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I need that. I feed on that. But this is a different aspect. This is a different view on it. So if you do the Audible thing, I highly recommend you check out Chase
All right.
the Lion.
That's going to be on my to-do list.
Yes.
I like the Audibles. I mean, that makes sense. I have about a 30-minute commute every day.
Yeah.
Just coming into work. That's an hour a day.
There you go. That's like 2 chapters a day.
2 chapters. Done.
You know how many books you're going to get through?
Okay. Bobby, you inspired me.
I am not a reader, but because of Audible.
You're a listener?
I did 7 books last year.
I love it.
Which is like the most I've like really ever done. But anyway.
Chasing the lion.
But I love the fact that you're doing the coaching thing. I don't know why I always thought you were always in coaching.
Nope.
So
I'm glad I
fooled
you.
$24 million business with no coaching?
No. I mean, just I had mentors along the way, right. But that kind of steered me in the right direction. Because I've been at this place before where I was stagnant at 10 million, right? And then I grew to where I was by working under a mentor who taught me what I know now and how I go about my everyday business. But now it's time to do it again because I have become stagnant where I've been here for the last 3 years and now I'm ready to take that next leap.
Take the next level.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a business coach too.
Awesome. How long? For how long?
Started last year. So
and
I meet with him every other Friday. And it's awesome. I mean, you go through the initial goal planning part, right? Like, what is your goal? What is your big dollar? What is your micro? Your micro versus your macro. But then it starts breaking it down. And the cool part for me is it's that person that I can kind of vent to. Like, once you get that relationship going, I can vent to them about the struggles, and there's no judgment. But at the very end of the call, they're still kicking you in the ass to get back out there and do the things you need to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. It's changed my business tremendously. Because, I mean, I've been here just over 2 years, right? And I started with 0. Like, nobody under me. Like, I was just recruiting and trying to build. And last year, we finished at like 125 million. This year, we're looking to break 200 million. And I contribute a lot of that to having that coach and that accountability partner, as well as the mentors, which to me are separate.
That is awesome. That's part of your story. I love that you attest to where you're at right now. I look forward, Bobby, when we chat next, that I will tell you it was like a pinnacle moment, right? Where it was because I did this that I was able to get here. And I'm a little nervous because I'm not used to being uncomfortable, and I feel like I hope to have that person to vent to.
Yeah.
But it's them telling me what I'm doing wrong, which I know I need to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And maybe it's just a little bit, I feel vulnerable, and that's where I'm scared.
That's where the fear comes.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's scary, but I'm ready for it, right? But it's to take me to the next level, and But that's the fear right there.
Have you ever taken like a DISC profile?
I have.
What are you?
Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm a
definitely
DI.
a perfectionist, analytical. I play defense a lot, and so I'm a very good top Indian, but I am not a chief.
Got
so
you.
from that perspective, I'm going to do everything that someone
a
tells me to
general.
do. Yes,
Right.
so I'm very good. I can do, if you ask me to do something, and for instance, a 5K run, when everybody commits to doing something,
Right.
guess who's the last one doing it? Because I committed to it. Like if I'm going to do it and everybody will drop off, I got commitments and I'm not going to do it. But if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like on me, like I'm a DI, so like high drive, high people person kind of a thing, right? Like I love relationships and making people happy and all that stuff. And for me, part of it was, again, I went through the exact same feelings of fear and uncomfortableness in the fact that like, who is this person that's going to sit here and tell me what to do, right? But depending on your coach, and I'm sure through Masterminds, is Masterminds Todd Duncan?
Yes, it is, but that's it's Master Elite. It's not
Master
Mastermind. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, so, but anyway, I'm sure your coach is going to be phenomenal. But like, once you get that thing going, that relationship, you're going to see they're not going to beat you up. They're there to support you, right? They're going to tell you, hey, Monica. They're not going to tell you, Monica, you stink. Get out of the mortgage business. That's what the core does. Like, these guys are gonna, these folks, usually the other ones that like the guy that I work with, it's, look, Bobby, you're doing great here. Why don't we try to put some more emphasis on this part of it, and let's try to elevate that part. What do you think some ideas are to where we could get better there? And it just opens your mind up. So it's not just like, you're not getting a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, I don't know, but like, mine's not a drill sergeant, so I'm grateful for that.
So more of a motivator, which is I'm looking forward to.
But it also like an accountability partner. It's no different than having a trainer at the gym. I think you're going to love it, and I look forward to hearing some stories.
We're going to definitely have to reconnect on that because I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I almost rescheduled because I wanted to be that person for you, Bobby, before we met. But you were like, no, we just want to hear my story. So this is the before I get uncomfortable, and then we'll see how.
This is pre-coach.
Pre-coach.
We'll have you back for post-coach.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be great because just the fact that you were able to build what you've built with no coach, just mentors, right? Because again, mentors to me are completely different. Mentors inspire, coaches motivate.
Got it. Yeah.
Is the way I look at it, and you may see it differently, but mentors inspire for me, and coaches motivate. And so just through your work with your mentors, man, you built a really good business. 24 million on average?
Yeah.
That's not bad, girl.
Yeah. I'm hopeful for more, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Dude, so what do you think? Did you have fun?
Yes, I had a great time.
Any closing comments before we wrap up?
Well, you told me to bring a nugget, so I'm bringing a nugget.
Give me a nugget.
All right. I feel my mentor taught me that if you have to look at it from the buyer's perspective, right? Just know that there are clients out there that obviously need hand-holding, right?
Sure.
And they don't understand what some of the jargon, the words, and understand they don't know what the word escrow means, or they don't know what mortgage insurance is. So to understand and look at the side of the buyer and understand where they're coming from. They want to be important to you, right? They want to know that you have their back and that you're explaining things to them. So what I've realized is obviously I learned a high trust call, to have those calls with the clients where you build the trust and you gain the trust. But I think it's all about replacing. First of all, don't just start an email with, here's what's going on your file. It's ask them how their day was. Maybe if they told you they were doing something later in the week, hey, how did that go? Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Like, let's be a little cordial because these are people at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
They're not just machines. So I feel like if we, you replace words like process in my mind and call it an experience, and because who likes to be processed, right? I don't know. It's just using the right words and the right. You just want to. At the end of the day, this is a person at the other end of it, and I feel like as if, for instance, using the word serve, like if you go to Chick-fil-A. Do you feel like when you leave Chick-fil-A, my pleasure, and you just feel like, oh, my God, these people are so nice.
Right.
Like, I want to be the Chick-fil-A of mortgages, right? I want to be the person who, like, when they hang up the phone, be like, oh, my gosh, I totally know what mortgage insurance is now because she took the time to freaking explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a way of building the trust with the client and taking the time for them and not typing while they're talking because they know when you're typing.
Yeah.
Little things like that, and hone in on that. People know when they walk by my office and I'm on the phone, don't stand by my desk because I start getting, I need you to leave kind of deal because I'm focused on this conversation. And so my transaction coordinator knows not to come in my office when I'm on the phone because then I start wondering, what are you doing here? Because I'm having this conversation. I need to be in this moment with this client. So those are my little 2 cents, and people probably do it anyways. I just know I take it seriously, and I, because this is my career.
I think it's amazing though. I think you now, like, that's definitely spot on. You have to remember this is like their biggest
purchase.
Even if they've bought 4 others before this one, it's still important. This is still a service business, right? Now, one thing you did mention was Chick-fil-A, right? Okay, so shameless plug. My daughter just started there, which I'm super stoked about because, honestly, Chick-fil-A has one of the greatest training programs I've ever heard of. Yeah. And part of the reason why you may feel the way you feel about them when you go in there and get that experience is because of that training. And actually, our company uses one of their training videos at our senior level management. And it's, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's Everyone Has a Story. Have you ever seen that?
Never.
Okay, so after we finish recording, I'm going to bring that up before you leave here because it's going to blow your mind.
All right.
It's going to blow your mind. But now, thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And just shy of giving out your cell phone number, don't do that. How could people reach you if they wanted to connect and, maybe inquire, ask questions? Who knows? Maybe someone's listening to this that needs a mortgage loan.
Right. So my website is monicajenkinsteam.com. So that is my website. That's my contact info.
Cool.
Yeah, Monica Jenkins Team.
All right.
But thank you for your time. Chasing the Lion. I'm going to go purchase it on Audible.
I think you'll like it. You'll like it a lot. Well, hey, everybody, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Big B Mortgage Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, give us a like, give us a share, leave some comments. But whatever you do, people, please just stay social. Talk to you later. Bye.